What does Black Lives Matter mean to me?
What does Black Lives Matter mean?
Black Lives Matter means that I'm able to go for a bike ride or go for a jog in my own neighborhood without getting the police called on me.
To me, Black Lives Matter means we're standing beside people that look like us or that don't look like us, and realizing that there's been some injustices. So we're looking that square in the face and saying, you know what, people that look like me, our lives do matter just as much as someone that doesn't look like me.
It's just a cry for bringing attention to a disparity in how we are being treated here in this country, in America.
It means equality for people of color.
It means we're treated equally and treated right.
It's a movement to stop the injustice to Black lives.
It's a movement. You look at the protest and you see a diverse group of people, and it's about all people coming together to fight a cause, to value Black lives.
It's worldwide right now. It's in Paris, it's in London, it's all over the States. And really the movement to me is just showing there's power in people coming together.
What do I think of people say all lives matter?
That's a hell of a question.
Oh man, when people use all lives matter to protest Black Lives Matter, it angers me.
I feel like people don't truly understand why we're screaming, Black Lives Matter.
I think those people are naive because in order for all lives to matter, Black lives need to matter.
I understand what they're saying, but it just shows me that they don't understand what we're saying.
I think it's really them not understanding what the cause is.
I think it's insensitive. That's like me saying, my grandma just died and I love my grandma, and then you saying, what about my grandma? You don't love my grandma? It's like, we're not talking about your grandma right now. Right now I'm mourning. I'm in pain and I'm going through some things. If you see your brother or your sister in mourning, you should not divert that mourning to something else.
It's like, no stuff, Sherlock. Like, obviously everybody life matters. That's not what we're talking about.
It's no disrespect to anybody else's life. It's just saying, like, if I had a birthday today and you were to come to my birthday and say, but I have a birthday too.
I like the analogy when people say, if there's only one house burning down in a neighborhood, the fire truck doesn't go hosing down all the houses. They go to the house that's on fire. And I think that's what people need to understand when we say Black Lives Matter.
And so when I hear all lives matter, it sounds like someone who truly does not understand or is tone deaf and is intentionally trying to silence the voices of the people being oppressed.
It's like a complete disregard for what we're trying to tell you guys about.
Those people have their blinders on, like there isn't inequality or injustice to the Black community.
You're literally taken away from the fact that Black lives are the ones that's under attack.
They try to use that to make it seem like it's not important.
So that they can go back to business as usual and return to their, peaceful life where they don't have to think about, police brutality or oppression or anything of that matter.
I feel like people genuinely want to be nice. I feel like there's always a couple bad eggs, but those that are kind of slow to join in on the fight, I feel like they just don't know. They're ignorant to the fact why we're saying that out loud.
One thing I would want people who say all lives matter know is we care about your life. We're just trying to make sure that you care about ours.
What if it was your mother? What if it was your brother? What if it was your son? What if it was your daughter? What if it was your grandparents? Would it matter to you then?
They need to close their mouth and open their ears and just listen and try to understand.
When I say Black Lives Matter, I want them to understand that it's not a matter of trying to turn the tides of supremacy, but it's a matter of trying to balance the scales. And so that's really what I hope that we can get across with this.
One thing I want people to know who say all lives matter is, yes, all lives do matter, but take a second to learn more, to educate yourself on what the movement is really about.
One thing I want people to know or to look up is the history behind, Africans enslaved in America. We talk about that in school, but we brush over it sometimes. And I had the opportunity to just watch a movie, Just Mercy. And I want people to watch that movie, as well as watch the movie Emmanuel with my family and my mother being taken away from me. And after that, I'd love to speak more with people one-on-one.
What people can do, non-minority or non-black people, what they can do to support Black Lives Matter is when they see an injustice or when they see racism, to call it out.
Silence is violence, so just speak up. You don't have to give a great speech. You don't have to lead a movement, but just, speak up on the things that you're seeing. Don't keep quiet.
Go talk to your family. A lot of people have family members who are in positions of power, who, whether or not their dad or their mom or their uncle or whatever is a lawyer or a doctor or a judge or a police officer. And so it's important for you to challenge those individuals who are in your sphere and in your circle. Those are going to be some uncomfortable conversations to have. And I think that's important to understand.
I think when you're supporting Black Lives Matter, it doesn't mean that you have to march and shout those words, because that's not for everybody. Not everybody's going to protest or do those kinds of things, but everybody can have a conversation with their 12-year-old son or their 15-year-old niece about what we're going through in our country right now, and about how they need to love people no matter what they look like on the outside.
By participating in the movement, I wanted to create change. I actually wanted to show people that it's just not about coming out here and doing something. It's actually getting involved and actually giving back to the community.
Honestly, for me, I hope that the justice system and the police brutality, I hope that all that gets cleaned up.
I want change, right? I want change. And I care for things to be equal so much.
I think that what I guess we really want is to be treated fairly and to be treated evenly and to have a truly United States.
Honestly, I just hope for change. As anyone else, I think that is doing, joining the movement and participating in the protests and giving back to the community. I really think everyone just wants change.
I just hope that I'm able to walk down the street without being profiled, drive our cars, go into a gas station, our own homes, a jog, just without being racially profiled and have to fear for our lives.
Me personally, I've seen this already, how white people or people that have, quote unquote, white privilege, they are finally looking themselves in the mirror and checking themselves on some of the things that they believe or they have been taught. I liked the quote where someone said that a lot of the things that were done to black people hundreds of years ago, of course they weren't at your fault. But to be honest, we need your help to get through what we're going through. So I love that, because I don't want anybody to feel like it's their individual fault, but there's still some bad eggs out there and we need to fight against them.